Sorry about that. The mute button wouldn't unmute. But welcome back to Aliit by Beskar. I am excited as always to jump into this because we might have a space chase or battle or something today, because there's a big spaceship coming down through the atmosphere shooting at everybody, and everybody was running back to their spaceship. So we'll see what happens. I'm very excited though. Before we jump into all that, though, I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves and their characters, starting as usual with the top left. So, Vanessa, tell us a little bit about Anaka and yourself.
I always forget that I'm in the top left for this game, so every time you say my name, I'm like, what? I'm not prepared. But hello. I guess we'll fly by the seat of our pants. I'm Vanessa. I am a traditional artist primarily. I work in watercolor and pencil sketch, as well as a little bit of digital art. Lately, I've been on a bit of an anime binge, so if you are interested in seeing some anime sketches, you can certainly find my stuff on my art Twitter, which is @PepperoDraws, and that's Peppero like the candy. I'm actually working on another My Hero Academia character right now, so that'll be going up on my Twitter soon. So if you are interested in that, you can check that out. And I play Anaka, and she is a Togura. She is a Dark Force user. And we've kind of got this running joke that she's like the broody teenager of the crew. Whether that is actually true or she's just using that as a cover so that nobody really has to interact with her much, she doesn't have to answer very many questions, is yet to be seen. I know that last session we kind of finally got some animated responses from her. She was having quite a time enjoying herself during the fight, and we managed to get a little bit of a laugh out of her. So that's new to the crew, I would say. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing where that goes. So that's Anaka.
Fantastic. Next, let's hop down to Nikki. Tell us a little bit about Ilsa and yourself.
Hi, I'm Nikki. Ilsa is a character in a game who's a character. Oh my gosh, why am I always so bad at this?
It's because you get put on the spot. It's like, tell me everything about your character right now.
She's kind of quiet about things, but she seems to have really enjoyed redecorating the ship to look like a cottage.
Yes, which is amazing.
Yeah, but she really doesn't talk much about herself. Oh, she has a pet rat ferret thing.
I forgot about the rat ferret.
And she really seems to, she does like the party and being part of it. And I really don't know what else to say.
No worries. All right. Next, real quick note, definitely go give Hope Tracy 71 a follow on Twitter. She's awesome, but couldn't be here tonight because of some internet stuff going on. Just not having internet because of technical stuff going on. But she'll be back next week. And then next we got Matt. Tell us a little bit about Jai and yourself.
Oh boy. Hi, I'm Matt. Matt Hoadley, and I am a content creator, streamer, podcaster, a little everything. And I play the sweet summer child, the precious idiot, Jai Soren, who it's out of character, but he earned a best friend point with Anaka last time. And that will come into play at some point. I will not forget.
Anaka doesn't know about it, so
neither
use it
does
wisely.
Jai. It's fine. But it's still worth mentioning so we both don't forget. Who last time enjoyed putting us all into this position once again by his own actions. This is twice now, and it's all in Narshadal. Why am I like this? But he did steal the very shiny Beskar Stormtrooper helmet from our new frenemy, arch frenemy, maybe even. And and he thinks that's pretty cool. So his day's pretty great.
That is pretty nice. Next we've got Mr. Parr. Tell us a little bit about Zadu and yourself.
Hi, I'm Mr. Paul. I'm the internet here. I'm an aspiring writer. I'm going to always say this just to remind myself what I'm trying to do and get done. And I'm playing Zadu Baka, who's a Twi'lek who's raised on Kashyyyk. He's a soldier in the Star Wars Saga Edition system. And despite how he will just go into things, Zadu's just, how to put it, stupidly brave.
That's fair. That's very fair. All right. Well, where we left off last time, you all had kind of tried to set up an ambush for the, as we've been calling him, the shiny stormtrooper, and they came in with a sort of counter ambush of their own, with Storm Elites, I think they were called, that particular unit, and basically they're like Imperial assassins. And there was a whole bunch of them, and they blew holes in the wall, and sort of flooded into the building surrounding everyone. But you all fought them off really well, to the point that they had to retreat, and they called in air support. And that came in pretty heavy because it blew up the warehouse with turbo laser blasts from a I have to look at it to pronounce it, Arquitens class command cruiser, and I might still be mispronouncing that because I've never heard it spoken. I'm just reading it. But if you're a fan of Rebels, the Imperial cruisers that they used a lot in that show is what this is. So it came into the atmosphere of Nar Shaddaa and blew up this warehouse. But everybody got out, including a lot of the Imperial assassins and our shiny stormtrooper, but not before Jai grabbed his helmet and pulled that off. So Jai still has this guy's helmet, but they ran back to their shuttle and took off. And now everyone's escaping from turbo laser blasts that are sort of following you all. Muxo jetpacked off towards your ship, and let everybody know that that's where she's going. I've got her character sheet pulled up so that if you do get back into the ship, I can do pilot rolls and things like that for you. So that's an option. You don't have to go back to the ship. You can try to split up or things like that, but there's definitely a whole lot of ordnance about to be rained down on you. So what would you like to do?
Boy. Is it bad that my meta mind is just like, we should not have a space chase without our pilot character? I think Jai's just gonna get on the helmet comms and just be like, hey, I don't know if y'all saw this, but there's a ship shooting at us. Which is a bad joke because Jai was literally the last person to notice, and only because he barely ran out of the building without it blowing up on him.
Yeah. There was a thermal detonator involved.
I was focused. What are we doing, team?
Oh.
Team?
Running?
Are we all dead?
The team has left the chat.
Oh no!
I'll tap my communicator. Where are we all at? Are we together or?
We all kind of scattered to the winds a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, you're all relatively close to where the warehouse was now. But I don't think you're all like in the same spot. But you're probably able to see each other if you look around. You're not out of like that far out of vision of each other.
Okay, well, it seems that we've gotten ourselves into quite a situation. Probably our best interest to regroup and potentially get off Nar Shaddaa.
Okay, I got a crazy idea then. This is gonna be great.
Oh, will it?
Yes. We go deeper.
What?
All right, so, and Jai is just like gesturing while he's running. There's just like a very shiny silver stormtrooper helmet flashing around. So, we're like near the top of the planet. There's all those like canyon streets. We go deeper, and the ship can't shoot us as much. And we wait till all of this dies down, and then we go home.
But haven't they seen our ship already? What if they destroy it while we're hiding out?
Did we have the ship nearby, or was it
It's
docked somewhere?
It's relatively nearby. Not like right next door, but like within that's where Muxo's jetpacking to. It's within, running distance. Also, while you were describing that, all I could hear was like the Star Wars version of the we go to the Winchester, wait for this to all blow over speech.
Hmm.
We get your mom, we go to the Winchester, we have a pint.
Yeah.
What if we could move the ship to another port? Doc?
We can go to the ship. We're probably gonna have to blast our way out of here.
Well, that's if they know where it is already. But I'm not suggesting leaving the planet, I'm suggesting moving it to a different port.
So if I remember right, like Muxo, Zadu, Locke, and Ilso ran out one door, and I basically ran out the same door that Anaka ran out.
I
think
I ran out a hole in a wall.
Yeah, it's kind of a door. It's a door if you think about it. It just doesn't close anymore.
Think about it.
So, okay. Y'all can get back to the ship and move it. Hey, Anaka, you want a chance to have a fight with that boy again, with the shiny one?
I think taking his blaster was good enough for now.
Okay, but what if I had a way where you and I could draw the big ship away from our ship, and then they can come pick us up later?
And what way would that be?
Jai takes his helmet off and puts on the stormtrooper helmet and calms the Imperial line, which is probably still up, and just goes, "Hey, shiny boy, I got your hat."
Are you trying to taunt him into coming back?
They're all going to die.
Really? I can jetpack away and dive down into a canyon. I'll be fine, but...
Okay. So I'm just trying to make sure, like, I'm understanding your goal here.
My goal, since nobody told me not to draw fire away from our ship, and this is exactly how Jai operates, is to draw fire this direction and not to run back to the ship right now. Like, if Anaka just like sees what I'm doing and splits off back to the ship, cool. I will just dive down the canyons for a bit and then switch back to my helmet. But I'm trying to draw fire this direction, like this way instead of that way.
Yeah, that definitely succeeds.
Great.
Let me just roll.
We're gonna
something.
die. We're gonna die. It's fine.
I'm really happy with the decisions I'm making in life.
You're not gonna die, Anaka. Jai might die.
Hey, I got some more hit points, and I feel pretty good about myself. Also, if
I'm
I
just
die,
saying.
I'm not coming back as a super awesome Ewok Sith. I'm coming back as a Jedi Gungan. So all y'all better strap in and pray for Jedi.
Just on the topic of hit points and potentially dying here, I do have a question. So with the hit points that we went up this time, we just add the extra ones that we got from the level up. Is that correct?
Like we didn't reset to full. We're still down however many we were down.
Yeah, because I'm down to 25 hit points, but I rolled extra hit points for the level up from last week. So do I just add what I rolled to my current?
Oh, gotcha. We're gonna use video game logic here, especially since you're one of your party members is drawing fire from a cruiser, and say that you just re-heal up to full magically because
Beautiful.
Oh, shiny! I'm.
Are you now on board with this plan? Is that what I'm hearing?
But I just think it's funny that this guy full on shot me with this blaster last time, and I walked out of there and I'm like, by the way, I'm fine.
I mean, this is how Starkiller ripped a Star Destroyer out of orbit, so I think we're doing great.
Anyway, Jai, you do what you do. I'll decide.
When you see the explosions, because I definitely got on a different comm channel to do this. Whole different helmet involved.
Let's see here. I'm trying to remember how scale works.
Poorly for me in almost every situation.
Because this is vehicle scale damage. What was the conversion rate? You know what?
It's like times 10 or something ludicrous.
Okay. Let's hope let's hope their gunners aren't paying attention.
Jai, you better have fast feet.
Oh, they're paying attention. Okay. So attack is, what is their base attack bonus? Ships are laid out kind of weird with their stats. So there's the turbo laser. Okay, so that's a 4 plus that. Okay.
I hate every second of that calculation.
There's a lot. So basically what's happened, and the reason I rolled to see if they were paying attention, because I was like, hey, maybe they don't have the thought to trace your radio signal as a spot to home in on. But they did.
You know, I was kind of hoping for that, but less like they could immediately shoot me. These are the things I don't think about in advance. It's fine.
Okay, so I have some good news and some bad news. Which would you prefer first?
You know what? Let's end on the bad so we can get that real good reaction.
Okay. So good news, it's only a 20, so they miss.
Oh, except it's area effect, right? Is that the bad news?
Yeah, that's the bad news.
Could I make, before you tell me how bad the number is and how dead I am,
Okay.
could I make the argument that since I did this and I was kind of expecting a reaction, I could already be triggering my jetpack to try to shave a little bit more damage off that edge?
We'll keep that as a thought.
Oh, good. That's a no. I'm dying now. Jai has made good choices today, friends.
You're lucky Anaka doesn't hate you, just thinks you're annoying because I potentially have something that could help you if you do almost die.
Yay.
Oh, that's why.
But hey, if I survive
it doesn't
this...
multiply it. Okay. So that's 23 times 5. Vehicle scale damage.
Okay.
So, how are your destiny points looking there?
I have a bunch. I have 3. I got another one, so I'll cash one in if I need to, or 2, or I would hate to cash in all 3, but I would.
Yeah. Oh no, you don't have to cash in all 3.
I was about to get real concerned.
Unless, like, you try this multiple times. But yeah, that would have been, heck, just saying it's double damage, which I know it's more than that, but I don't remember the exact conversion of vehicle scale to like person scale. But that would have been like 200.
Find.
They really didn't. But that would have been like 230 damage, even if it was just double.
You know, I don't think Jai can quite shake that off.
Yeah, or I guess 115 actually, because it's half damage because of the area effect. But yeah, Destiny Point. Turbo Laser is just coming right down at you as you're trying to jetpack out of the way, which is really like trying to run on foot away from a speeding semi that's barreling down on you. And right at the last second, your jetpack mysteriously fails, and you plummet underneath where this is hitting. And right as you're getting very concerned that you're plummeting, to your death, your jetpack miraculously kicks back in, and you avoid the turbo laser blast above you without dying or taking damage.
Blessings. This all worked out great. I'm going to get undercover somewhere.
Yeah, you're there.
I'm going to swap helmets and be like, all right, I think I drew fire away from the ship.
So as you start talking, now that you have your own helmet back on, all you hear is Anaka's voice on the other end, just a stream of angry sounding Togruti words. You don't... I assume you don't know Togruti.
I don't.
Okay, you don't know what they mean, but they just sound really mad.
So Jai will very patiently wait until the tirade ends and just goes like, oh, I knew you cared.
It's not that I care about you, you pea-brain. I'm close to you.
You're a space wizard. Use your shiny stick to, like, deflect it or something.
Jai, are you asking me to deflect the attack of a large cruiser with a lightsaber?
There is a long pause. Yes?
Then you are more stupid than I originally thought you to be. And she ends her comms.
Jai just like shrugs and just goes like, I don't know. Dad told me real weird stories about Jedi. I thought you were just one of them. Whatever.
Oh my God. All right, so they're concentrating fire on your position, Jai, but you are safe relatively for the moment under this building. I mean, there's a lot of like the fancy Star Wars word for concrete. I can't remember what it's called, but big chunks of that are falling from the sky and things that you're having to avoid. But so far, like, it's falling slow enough or far enough away that you don't have to really worry about your reflex defense or anything like that. And while they're concentrating on that spot, Ilsa, Zadu, Naka, you're able to get to wherever it is you're wanting to go without being shot at.
Okay, well, I don't know if they actually knew where our ship was, so this probably could have been done without risking many lives. But Zadu will go to the ship and try to move it to another port.
Okay. All right. What about Ilsa and Anaka? Where are you heading?
The ship would be nice.
Okay. That's where Muxo's heading as well. What about Ilsa?
Yeah, the ship.
The ship. Okay. All right. Everybody aside from Jai is able to get back to the ship, while the cruiser is busy blasting Glass, the warehouse and section where Jai was radioing from. I will let you decide. Do you want Muxo to pilot, or Zadu, did you want to pilot and have Muxo assist?
I have no problem piloting.
Okay.
Pilot.
Then I will need a pilot roll to basically quick start the ship and take off as fast as possible.
Okay, let's see how it goes.
Nice. Yeah, that's plenty. You are able to get the ship started. Muxo's there, like quickly running through pre-flight, the fastest pre-flight check ever, while you're starting up the engine and getting behind the controls and everything. And yeah, your piloting skill is more than enough to just launch the ship out of the hangar. And there's a couple other ships that are trying to get out of the way because there's turbo lasers going off not far from the docking port. So you're actually able to like jerk the ship to the left and the right and stuff to dodge out of the way these smaller ships that are also trying to take off at the same time. And it looks pretty badass. And you're able to just zoom up into the air. What's the plan for getting Jai, or is there a plan for getting Jai?
So am I by a canyon?
More like just a crevasse between buildings, sort of.
Okay, does it go down more?
Yes, it does, but the further down you go, the darker it gets, and the more dangerous it is.
So my thinking is to like go down far enough that I can't be seen since I'm not broadcasting on their frequency anymore, and then just like zoop, 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 around and meet up with them somewhere.
Yeah. We can do that. I'm gonna roll for a random encounter.
I could use my very, very good stealth skill that I will never use again.
That's a great point. Yeah, roll stealth.
Oh boy.
See if you
Raven.
can- Yes.
My fold space says object. Can that object be living?
Yeah, technically.
Oh no.
I mean, we could just teleport Jai into the ship. Anaka can do that with the force.
Yeah, let me pull up the details for that just to make sure we're not doing anything that's gonna like cut Jai in half.
Oh no, I'm gonna be turned into a force mod. Look, this already happened to my time traveler character.
I don't think so, because it does say like if the object you're transporting contains other objects or creatures, everything contained within the object is transported as well.
So you're aiming at my armor?
Yeah, that could work.
Okay.
It just says you can use the force to bend space, transporting an object almost instantaneously from one place to another.
So yes, but you'd have to be kind of close because it looks like the max range with like a 40 is 30 squares.
Yeah. So we would have to find him and move closer to that.
Yeah. Because 30 squares is 150 feet. Or somewhere in the vicinity of like 50 meters. To give you an idea of how far away. But you can use force points to increase that distance.
Yes.
By 2 categories, which is 12 squares, which is 60 feet or 30 yards / meters ish. Distances and numbers are hard. long story short, yes, potentially. So Jai, what was your stealth roll?
Oh, I didn't push the button. I'm sorry. I didn't know what that conversation was going to result in. Let me push the button. 32.
Okay, never mind. Don't have to do a random encounter roll because you are as silent as something that is very quiet.
That's also a nat 20.
Is it?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
is.
We can't even
Oh,
find
dang.
them.
Nice.
I always make a habit of hovering over the numbers because I'm like, what's involved in that number? That is a nat 20.
Woohoo.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
It didn't show up green.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Well, fantastic. Yeah, you are invisible, silent. You just make it out of there. Yeah, if Anako wants to try and teleport Jai when he gets close enough, you're welcome to do so.
So that's
boy.
that's up to you. I
try
am
it.
fine with it if you do it, but like Matt is fine with it if you try, but that's up to you.
We can try it. I can't guarantee you I'm not going to drop you into an abyss, but
I have a jetpack.
I think Anaka would probably take that chance.
Especially after I just got a cruiser to fire at her.
Yeah. So I definitely think Anaka would take that chance.
All right, go ahead and roll your use the force.
All right. Oh, I rolled poorly on that one.
Uh-oh.
It's just a 20. Literally
Okay.
6 squares. I will use as many force points as I need to, though. How close are we going?
Let's call it 2 force points. Just for it to be like meaningful.
Yeah,
A meaningful
that's okay.
distance.
I
'Cause,
rolled the mirror dice today. I don't know why I rolled the mirror dice because the mirror dice never do anything for me. So
they
that
always
was
hate
my
you.
fault. They do. I think Mira just she's stuck in her own little world. I'm gonna use the Annie dice, I think,
There you
instead.
go.
But yeah, I'll use 2 force points then.
Okay. Then, Jai, when you're a decent distance away from the ship still, suddenly, like, reality warps around you, and then you find yourself right in front of Anaka on the ship. Jetpack still going.
Oh no!
You're not, like, rocketing into the ceiling or anything, but it's just enough for you to be hovering, but... Yeah, the jetpack's still going.
I just kind of look around for a second and look at Anaka, and then I just like shove the shiny stormtrooper helmet in her face and just go, I got a toy.
Anaka holds up the big blaster that she took from him. She's like, me too.
Jai cuts the jetpack, lands, and just like holds out his hand for a high five.
Are you using your best friend point here, Matt?
No.
Anaka turns around and leaves.
I'm treating that best friend
Savage.
point as worth more than any destiny point I've ever owned.
Oh, that's amazing. So brutal. All right. Now that everybody's on the ship, could I get a perception roll from anybody that's in the cockpit or looking out a window?
Sure, you can have one. It won't be great.
Oof.
So I said I was going to use the Annie dice. I rolled a nat 20, and my force is 17.
Oh, fantastic.
I got a 10.
Okay, so Ilsa sees this off in the distance. You see what looks like fighters coming your way. It's a little too far off to tell what type of fighters they are, but the silhouette looks like it's probably some sort of TIE. Anaka, you know that there are exactly 3 TIE fighters and 2 TIE bombers with 4 pilots, 2 of which who had some sort of like Star Wars equivalent to tuna fish sandwiches for lunch that day. One of them is named Steve. Like all about it.
I know their blood type, their birthday,
yeah.
what planet they're from.
Yeah.
One of them just had a fight with his mom.
Yep.
Yeah, well, Anaka doesn't have a mom, so she doesn't feel bad.
I love our family. It's
All right.
She relays as much information as she is able to discern to the rest of the crew. Because not because she's feeling particularly friendly after Jai pulling the stunt that Jai just pulled, but because she is on this ship, and like it or not, whatever happens to the ship happens to her. So she gives all that information to anybody who needs it.
I'm a
right.
delight.
It also confirms what she can confirm.
Perfect. Yeah. And speaking of the pilots, one of the TIE pilots is actually kind of nervous about flying this mission because
Is it Steve?
You know what? Yeah, it's Steve. Steve is a relatively new TIE pilot, just like fresh out of training. He's on the right TIE fighter.
We'll adopt him. He's fine.
Okay.
That's our Steve now. I say as I drink root beer out of my Star Wars wine glass.
Perfection.
That's our Steve now.
Oh God, that's amazing.
So I'm
yeah.
pretty sure the ship has cannons that we can fire.
It does indeed.
I'll go grab one of those, I guess.
All right. So yeah, we are going to unless there's anything specific you want to do to try to avoid these fighters, we'll be going into ship combat. So I will need initiative rolls from everyone.
Oh no. Wait, initiative? I'm decent at that.
Damn, Annie really isn't letting me down today. Shout out to my girl. I just rolled a 19. So it's 27 for me.
Okay. So we had 26 there, 20.18 here, 15.15 there, and then what was yours, V?
I rolled a 19, so that's 27.
27, nice. Okay, now I need to roll for the TIE fighters. Alright, so let's see, we got just writing out this turn order here, and what are your initiatives? Okay, so that is a 24. That is a 13. That's a 21. And then the bombers. That's a +4, so that's a 13. And a 16. All right, so so ship combat initiative is a little odd. It goes by pilot. So basically, because Zadu got a 26, and that's higher than all of the other ships, your ship goes first. And then turn order on that ship will be based on your initiative orders. So that'll be Anaka, then Zadu, then Jai, then Ilsa, and then it'll be tie 1, tie 3, tie 4, or bomber will be 4, then tie 2, and then bomber 1. All right. Okay. Whole lot of numbers right there. And yes, on your turn you can choose to board your own fighters and launch those if you want to. But first is the what is your ship called again? The Kipper?
That was that's Muxo's tie.
Oh, okay. Whatever your ship's name is.
Similon Sonar, I think was what it was. It was a real bad joke in Mendoe.
Okay. Well, you're first. And first on your ship is Anaka. So is Anaka going for the guns or for a fighter? To give you a reminder, your ship has a quad laser cannon. Looks like a regular laser cannon. Which is probably fired from the cockpit, I would imagine. So you've got one quad laser cannon that somebody can man, and a laser cannon that somebody in the cockpit can fire.
Anaka is not really a ship combat kind of cow. So I think she is probably going to stay put where she is, which I would assume is up by whoever is piloting at the moment.
Okay.
She's looking at what's happening.
All right. That's fine. And then Zadu, you're next, piloting.
Mhm.
You can try to do some fancy maneuvers or something like that if you'd like to with a pilot role. Just kind of describe what you want to do. Or if you want to try to shoot at them with the cockpit laser cannon, you can do that, or anything else that you can think of, really. But those are some options.
We should probably fire first before they get the chance to, barrage us. As
Good
they
call.
are currently many ships. So, just roll. Do I just roll piloting for that?
So it'll be your ranged attack roll essentially, +2 from the ship.
Okay, and how many ranges? The gauntlet flamethrower. So I'm just add 2 to that.
Yeah, and then what is their flex defense?
18.
18. And who are you aiming at?
Oh, I rolled an 8.
Anaka points out that you should avoid the right-hand side. Because that's Steve. She gets the feeling that Steve needs a little moment to kick into gear. We should let Steve kind of come into his own. So she says, "Watch out for the right side. Don't hit that one."
This is literally Jai's face when you say that.
Right. I imagine Anaka says that in the middle of Zadu firing. He's like, what? And just presses. And it just, if it doesn't hit, it just goes right by, like right between two of the ships.
It does hit if you're aiming for one of the TIE fighters.
Yeah.
So are you aiming for 1, 2, or 3?
Let's aim for 2.
Okay. So that'll be the middle one.
I imagine seeing Zadu was aiming for like a TIE defender. Okay. Or Steve's ship. Anaka says that, he gets confused, he hits he fires the cannon, and it just hits an entirely different one than the one he was intentionally aiming at. Like,
all right, go ahead
What?
and roll 4d10 times 2.
okay, 40-10. 26 times 2, 52.
And that's not Steve, right?
That is Steve.
Make it.
That is
Yes!
Steve.
Because Anaka said something and distracted Zadu.
Naka just puts her hands on her hips and just stares forward out at this happening with like a disapproving look on her face.
It's okay though, because it does hit Steve's TIE fighter, but it's still flying. It's just got some smoke and flames coming off of it now. It's not dead though.
Under-
It doesn't blow up.
Under her breath, Naka just goes, "Well, that's unfortunate."
Well, seeing as they have TIE fighters, I just look back at the rest of the crew. You know, we seem to have something just like that.
We
That is
do?
true.
And Jai just like looks around like, what? What do we have? What do we have?
We have TIE fighters.
Oh, Chai.
Oh, I don't. I'm going to go to the turret.
Okay, it is your turn next, too, by the way, Jai.
This all works out then perfectly. Jai races to the turret, to the quad turret.
Okay.
Jai is not going to aim at Steve. He's going to
Okay,
very deliberately not aim at Steve. One of the other TIE fighters. TIE bombers are slow.
All right.
I think I programmed all this into my weapon rolls right. We'll find out. Well, it
So
did a
that's,
bunch of numbers.
Oh my!
Nice. So that's a 20. That's going to hit.
That damage
30.
is not doubled yet, or whatever amount it should be.
Oh, right. Okay, so yeah, evens or odds?
Odds?
All right, the left TIE fighter explodes into dust.
Woohoo!
Blah, 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 blah.
I got
Awesome.
one!
It's great, kid. Don't get cocky. Ilsa's turn. If
She's
Ilsa's
going
in the-
to. Yeah, she's
Oh,
going to
so
try to
go
get her TIE fighter. Her TIE fighter.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna say on this turn you can run to the TIE fighter and get it started and everything. So on the next turn you can launch out and start doing stuff.
Okay.
So it'll just take one turn to basically get to it, start it up, and get it ready to fight.
That's what I'm running to it. Thanks.
All right. So TIE Fighter 2's turn. They're getting closer, and the middle TIE Fighter, TIE Fighter 2, is going to do like a strafing fire, and as they sort of zooms past you. What is the attack bonus for that? Okay. So that's a 21 versus the Wayfarer, which has a reflex of 12. So yeah, that's definitely gonna hit you guys. That is 4d10 times 2. That is 54 damage before your shield and damage reduction. So that's 54 minus your you've got 20 for your shield rating and 15 for your armor. So just anybody who can keep track of that. Your ship has 140 hit points normally, and it just took 19 damage after reductions of everything. And then your shield's now down to 15 for the moment, because the damage of the rating of the shield was exceeded. But that can be repaired, like, in combat. Just as a heads up. Okay. Then the first bomber. It is their turn now. They're still a little ways off. So they're just going to shoot with their laser cannon. And that is going to miss. So some laser bolts go past you. And then it's Steve's turn. Steve is just struggling to keep, his damaged TIE fighter flying straight, so he just sort of zooms right past you overhead. And he's got the TIE pilot helmet on, so nobody can really see his features. But Anaka, you get a sense of just sheer terror and panic from this guy as he gets very close to your ship, but doesn't actually hit you or anything.
Just kind of in reaction to that, as he goes by, Anaka just holds one hand up and waves. She doesn't know if he can. Obviously, she knows he's very terrified right now, so she doesn't really foresee him seeing that, but she still does it.
Love that.
It's the thought that counts.
Yep. And then the TIE bomber, the other one, will also fire laser cannons. Oops, that rolled off. And that one will hit. Okay. Which is not as strong. So that's a 52. So we got 52 minus 15 now. So your shields will drop down to 10. Minus the armor. So that's 22 damage after armor and shields.
Okay. We're at 99.
Okay. So it's a couple of solid hits. But it is back to your turn. And they are... everyone except for the bombers are now behind you. So they're going to have to turn around. So at the top is Anaka again.
For Anaka. I'm gonna stay put. Everybody else seems like they have their shit under control, so she's just gonna continue to hang out.
All right. Zadu, it is your turn next. Would you like to keep shooting, or would you rather focus on making the ship harder to hit?
Boy. let's make ourselves a little harder here.
Okay. I need a pilot check and do that with advantage because we don't have Muxo here helping you, so just this is basically
wow.
There we go, 24. So that's much better. So with Muxo helping you, giving you the advantage, you're able to do some maneuvers to add a +5 to your ship's reflex defense for this round, which will put you at a 17 instead of a 12.
Ooh, girl.
Jai, is your turn.
I think I'd
you're-
rather. I think I'd
'cause you're
rather not. Go ahead.
On the quad, you can hit anybody.
Okay. I think I'd rather not give the bombers a chance to hit us if I can avoid it.
Good call.
Because bomb bad,
Mm-hmm.
I've been told by Gungans.
Oh my god.
I didn't intend that. I just rolled with it in the moment. So I'm gonna wheel back around and aim at one of the two bombers. The one on the right, I guess.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to actually roll on the ship sheet that I'd been building.
Nice.
Whoopah! No, I should have just rolled on mine.
Oh yeah, that's not gonna be enough.
Can I
To
spend
hit, but
force
you-
points?
I was gonna say, but you can use force points or d6s.
Do we have any d6s left after last combat?
Yeah, you currently have 7.
Oh, I'll use some of those.
All right.
Let's just see what happens.
It says 6, but I forgot to update it with the one from the retweets. So yeah, you've actually got 7.
All right, so that's +4.
And then if you throw a force point on that, it'll hit because you were literally one off of their.
I'll spend one of my force
Three.
points, and so yeah, that'll do it. So I used 1d6 and 1 force point.
Okay. So
And
bomber
that damage
number-
is multiplied.
that is multiplied. Okay.
Yes. The starship, the vehicle sheet actually does a surprisingly good job at the math.
All right. So they take 52 damage. Minus their hit points to get a different number. So that doesn't destroy that ship, but I will say that it does hit them sufficiently enough that they have to focus on like not running into you rather than firing this next round. So they're not going to shoot at you this coming round. And then we've got Ilsa. You are cleared for takeoff, so you can take off in your own TIE Defender.
Okay, can I do that and will I be able to shoot too?
Yeah, you
Okay.
are. You're basically the same as your big ship now. You're just going right after it.
Okay, can I go after the TIE bomber?
Yeah. Do you want to go after the
Okay.
one that Jai hit, or the one that hasn't been hit yet?
The one that hasn't been hit. Well, who's driving that one?
Not Steve.
Okay.
Not Steve. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, not
Uh,
Steve.
And then let me look up. Let me see if I can grab the stats for your TIE fighter, as well. Because it was a TIE Defender.
It's one of the
I
first
believe.
ones we stole.
Yeah, I just need to grab the stats so I can tell you what your guns do and what your reflex defense is. Yeah, there it is. Alright, so your reflex defense is 21, which is fantastic. You've got a shield rating of 30, which is also fantastic. Damage reduction of 10. And your attacks do... 60 10 times 2.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead and roll your ranged attack. So just like you would fire your blaster pistol, and then you can add plus 10 to that because of the ship.
Okay, I'm just making sure I roll the right thing. So I'm just gonna hit blaster.
All right.
But you know it's not the blaster.
Yeah.
Did that not work? Try again. Oh, I see what I'm doing wrong. Don't mind me, I'm just pressing the wrong buttons.
No worries. Ho ho.
Okay.
That's a nat 20.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so go ahead and roll. Where did it go? 6d10. And then we're going to multiply that by 4 since it's a crit.
Wow.
Nice.
So, yeah, Elsa's just, she jumped on the ship, she flew out and was blasting away, just having a great time. You said that times 4?
Yeah. So that's 168.
Wow.
So we take off the damage reduction there, and that is still 28 points more than it has hit points. So it explodes. And because you got a crit on that, I'm going to say this explodes. And then the ordnance on it explodes, which takes out the other TIE bomber that was flying next to it. So you get 2 for the price of 1, basically, because it was carrying a bunch of proton torpedoes. So, yeah, it makes a huge explosion. And you're even able to, like, fly through the flames in the air if you want to and look all
Yes. Cool. Yeah, so I want to fly through the flames in the air and just say, I hit, I made a hit. All properly.
Yeah. Okay. So that'll be... that's this side's turn. So next side. Steve just keeps flying. Steve's just done. Tries to land on Nar Shaddaa. That just leaves one TIE fighter left, which doubles back and starts shooting at you from behind. And he's focusing on the freighter, not the defender. So that's gonna be 19, and you're at a 17. So Zadu, you pull off some maneuvers, which are impressive, but it's just so you like miss the first few shots, and then that last one they time it just right to sort of lean into your maneuver, and it still hits. Oh, thanks, Michael. We got an advantage to whoever's rolling next against the TIE fighter. But they do hit with that one. So that's gonna be 4d10 times 2, so that's 42. 42 minus your shields are at 10, so that'll drop those down to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then minus your armor. So the Wayfarer takes 17 damage. And then we're back up to the top with Anaka.
Anaka's just letting you guys do what you do, because you all have it so under control. There's nothing that she can really add to it right now. So
Anaka's
she's
just
just
supervising.
Watching. Yeah, she basically. How
Really
many
worried
people
about
does it take?
Steve.
Yeah, poor Steve. But yeah, no, she's just kind of hanging around.
All right, cool. The next is Zadu. I will tell you, because you'll probably be able to notice all of this. So you know that you're probably not going to have to worry about that other TIE fighter for too much longer.
Mhm.
But there is the cruiser that's still within visual range.
Okay.
And I think Zadi would know enough to know that they have turbo lasers and tractor beams, which can be kind of frightening. So, do you want to fly more towards them, or like turn around and fly away from them now that you've taken out those fighters?
Oh, is it moving?
Yeah, it's finished blasting the spot where Jai was, and is now moving towards all the ships that are fleeing.
Right. I guess it's
But
time to get out of here.
yeah, but thanks to Jai, they're just now turning to enter the fight instead of starting in the fight.
You know, Jai, you still on the you're still on the turret, right?
Yup.
I wanna
Oh, I'm down to clown. Let's go.
I don't know. I just want to do something stupid.
I love it. You know I'm on board.
I do want to turn and get farther away from the cruiser though.
Ah.
Okay.
And
This is more Matt being disappointed than Jai. Jai is probably just like, we should go, we should go, we should go, we should go, we should go.
we've all seen Force Awakens, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's been a bit, but I've seen it. Yeah.
I want to do something stupidly, just stupid. I'd like to, recreate that scene and line up the perfect shot for Jai to take out this TIE fighter before we leave this planet.
Oh yeah.
Is this gonna be? Is this Steve we're taking out or the other one?
The
What?
Steve is the only one that's left.
Oh, wait.
Oh no, there's one
Oh.
more. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah, I was,
That is right.
I was like,
There's one
I
more.
was like, I thought Steve left.
No, I just realized that Steve that I crossed out because Steve has left the encounter.
Oh,
There's
okay.
still one left.
This is just
I
a,
misread my notes.
this is just an unnecessary flex on our way out the door. We could just run,
Okay.
but we can also just do this.
Okay. So describe the maneuver that you're wanting to do as you move away from the cruiser to line up Jai this perfect shot.
I think Zandu starts to pilot away, sees the last TIE fighter, looks back at the cruiser, just says, "No one panic," and then he's gonna flip the ship upside down so John can get a better shot.
Perfect. Yeah, go ahead and roll pilot with advantage thanks to Michael.
Da, 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 da. But can I get better? Slightly.
Yeah. So yeah, you're able to do this. You flip the ship around, or over, and as this is happening, Jai, that gives you like the perfect shot on this other TIE fighter. So go ahead and roll your attack with advantage on this.
Oh boy,
Oh,
I
Much
needed
better.
it.
That 82 though.
Which damage do we take? Really, is the question. Both are good. I feel like both are gonna end it, but
the one that hits.
yeah. Either will blow it up.
woohoo!
So yeah, as the ship is flipping upside down, essentially, you're able to time it just right, Jai, and take that shot, and then you just start taking off. Ilsa, you're in the TIE Defender. You've just witnessed this happening right next to you. I presume you're wanting to follow everybody else?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to I kind of don't want to hang out there. Just
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, in all honesty, the TIE Defender is better equipped to handle a fight with a cruiser than your freighter is, but it's still not advisable.
Yeah.
Okay. So you start taking off, and the cruiser is following you in the atmosphere. There's turbo laser blasts that streak past the cockpit. You can see they're trying to zero in on you, but you're out of optimal range, so they're missing. And you pretty much just took out their full complement of fighters. So, is there anything that you want to do aside from just get away? Do you want to try to like lose them? Because you know they can just pretty much follow you out of atmosphere and into space.
Yeah. Could I lose them?
Yeah, you can try to. You could split up with the freighter and the TIE fighter and try to get them to go after one or the other. You could try to like do some funny stuff with cloud cover collectively, or you could go lower to try to lose them somewhere else on the planet. A lot of different options. Just depends on what y'all want to do.
Jai like yells down from the quad turret. This goes, "Hey Anaka, can you do your space magic on them and make them not know it's us?"
Funny you should ask that, actually. Let me just look at some notes.
All right.
Perfect.
See what I can do for you. Just give me a second.
No worries. While you're doing that, I need to send someone a note and ask something.
Uh-oh.
Just confirming something. Okay. Okay. So, there's that. And then for Anaka, I'll also need to use the force check, just at some point. Doesn't have to be right this second.
I have a force power called Obscure. And it essentially gives the opponent a penalty in an attack, but I'm sure that it would work in this situation. It's a mind affecting ability that clouds an enemy's mind, making it harder for them to see its target.
Okay.
It says one target within 12 squares, though. So is there anything, like any force points that I could use to change that, or would that be?
Yeah, we'll do this. Give me a use the force check to see if we can kind of boost your stuff here. Kind of doing a, let's see how effective you could potentially make this.
33.
33. Okay, so this does say if you can spend a force point to apply the penalty to all of the target's attack rolls made until the start of its next turn. So we're just going to modify this a little bit for this situation and say if you spend a force point, and since you got such a high roll on your use the force before we even go into this, I'll say if you want to spend a force point, if you succeed against their will defense, then yes, you can kind of obscure everyone that's paying attention to you on that ship for one turn.
Okay.
Which is gonna be Let me grab their will defense. But yeah, go ahead and roll. Use the force to actually do the thing.
A waste of time is what it was. I rolled a 2, so it's a 19.
Would you like to throw a d6 on that?
If it'll help, sure, I'll try.
It absolutely will, because you are literally 1 away from succeeding.
That's a 4. So
yeah.
a 23, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, for 1 turn, the cruiser doesn't know where you all are. So with that in mind, you could head straight out to space, and the cruiser probably wouldn't know that you go up there.
Which Anaka will promptly announce to the rest of the crew and tell them, if you are going to move, better make it now, because I can't hold it very long.
I say let's punch it. Yeah, let's go.
Oh yeah, probably shouldn't be on Narshada anymore. Even if we did stay here, they'd probably just come with more, sort of reinforcements. So yeah, sure, punch it.
Okay. Could I get a pilot check with advantage from Zadu? An advantage with Muxo helping. Nice.
That's 20.
Thanks so much for the d6 there, Michael. That is going to the cast.
At 20.
And yeah, with... Oh, was that a nat 20? Oh, sweet. Yeah, you punch it. And you're able to, like, push the engines with this, and just get the most speed you possibly can and get out of the gravity well of the planet as quickly as possible. As you leave the atmosphere, I need a perception roll from everyone. Yeah, from everyone.
23.
Okay.
11.
Zada, you're too focused on piloting to look around a whole lot.
22, and I'm buying new dice.
22, okay. And then Ilsa, I'm assuming that, again, that you're just following the freighter on all these maneuvers. So, your ship's a lot faster, so I'm not going to make you roll pilot to keep up or anything like that. So you are able to make it out just the same as the other ship. And then, yeah, everybody but Zadu. As you... Oh, wait, what was Ilsa's perception?
25.
25? Okay. Yeah, everybody but Zadu, because Zadu's busy flying. You're able to see a Vindicator class heavy cruiser orbiting Narshada, but not close enough to actually do anything to you. But you're able to tell that, like, sticking around here would have definitely been a bad idea. But you're out of the atmosphere. You're out of the gravity well of the planet, or moon in this case, and can calculate the jump to hyperspace. Before you do, though, let's see. Anaka, I need to use the force check, and then
Of course you do.
Was that 3 added to the 10? Okay. Okay. So let's see what Anaka gets first.
I hate it here. That is a 25.
25. Okay. Anaka, that's plenty. Anaka, you feel a very familiar presence on that Vindicator heavy cruiser.
Is it doing anything? Is it like specifically reaching out to me?
No, more of a passive kind of deal. But you I wouldn't say are like intimately familiar with this, but very familiar, like someone that you've interacted with quite a few times and aren't particularly happy with.
Of course, naturally. Yeah, she doesn't.
Do you know who I'm hinting at? I don't want to give anything away for everybody else. It's not dozen lightsaber skinny person.
Is it the person
else.
that I asked you about previously?
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay.
In that case, rather than like all the times that she's interacted with a lightsaber friend, she's just kind of kept it to herself and like played it off or whatever, not given any indication. But this time when she recognizes that this is a familiar sense and figures out kind of who this belongs to, her face is just storm cloud.
Okay.
Yeah, she doesn't verbally express it to anybody, but if you're standing around her, you will see just this total expression just change.
Okay. Do they? Okay, it is equipped with the hyperdrive. Okay, cool. Sorry. Double checking to make sure that the TIE Defender can jump to hyperspace as well. And yes, it can. Okay, so yeah, Anaka, that happens. Anybody around Anaka can sense all of that. And then Ilsa, you have a strange sensation. It's almost like when your ears are plugged up for a really long time and then suddenly your ears pop and you can hear clearly. It's like that, but with a new sense. It's like different than, you know, your sight or your hearing or your sense of smell. And you just kind of get a sense of a very angry person close by, and then sort of a sinister person further away towards that cruiser. It's very vague though, and probably a relatively new experience for Ilsa. So that happens. And then, yeah, you're clear to go into hyperspace. I'm assuming you're communicating back and forth where you're going. But where are you going?
Somewhere like do a jump, get Elsa on board, and then like I don't know, jump to Tatooine or something. Wherever we need to go to meet up with Bavoda.
Okay.
Uncle. That's Uncle in Mendoe. I'm talking about Bevan.
I figured. Yeah, you can make a jump to wherever, unless you want to stick around and find out why Anaka's so angry.
Oh,
Jai comes down from the quad turret, just looks at Anak's face and climbs back up into the turret.
I'd like to not stick around the huge cruisers.
Also that.
Very fair. So yeah, you're able to jump to just a relatively close point and get Ilsa's defender back on board, and then start making your way towards Tatooine, which I think is a good
Anaka
spot.
still angry?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good to know.
So important information for you, V, with that is that you know that person works for Admiral Pell now.
Okay. We're coming for your ass, pal.
Yeah. Big players that you know about. Shiny Stormtrooper works for Pell. This person that Nock is interested in works for Pell. And then oddly enough, your lightsaber friend seemed to be just as welcome with Pell as they did with Dala. So that's also something. For anybody that's taking notes, those are important little tidbits. Even you, the viewer, may work for Pell.
I knew we should have stuck around so that I could ask Shiny some questions.
For you, the
speaking of
helmet. I can offer you the helmet.
Actually, speaking of that, Jai, once you
Hi.
get a sec to look at the helmet, you do notice there's like a TK dash string of numbers written inside the helmet, along with the name Jaws Correal Saxon.
I'm a Mando.
Yep.
I would know this name.
Yes, you would.
So for reals this time, Jai is going to come down from the quad cannon. But first, the Beskar helmet comes flying down from the cannon. Jai drops down after it and just goes, "It's a damn Saxon. We're killing him."
All the Mandos would know this name. The name Saxon's infamous on Mandalore as the clan that sided with the Empire.
Sith damn traitors. Kill them all.
Yeah. And this is a hyphenated name, so obviously related.
It's a cousin.
A cousin, yeah. But still related. And now you know his name. His name is Jaws. Jaas. And with that, I think it's a good spot to take a break. So we'll be back in 15 minutes. We'll find out what the plan is now with that new information, and regroup on Tatooine. So go hydrate, grab snacks, stuff like that, and then be back in 15 minutes because we'll have the second half of our show. Be right back. are back and on our way to Tatooine. So, all of that just happened, and that was rather scary. You now know who's in the shiny stormtrooper armor. So Jai's mad about something, Anaka's mad about something, and you're on your way back to Tatooine. That's gonna take a little while. So what's the conversation looking like on the trip?
Zadu
Anger.
chilling.
Anger out here making best friends happen.
Ilsa's just really kind of quiet and confused and looking at Anaka a lot.
All right.
Yeah, no, Jai is fuming the whole time. Like sometimes y'all just be like walking through the ship, and all of a sudden, like that silver helmet will just come like flying down a hall where he's punted it. He's so mad.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Stay away from them, Locke. They need a moment.
Locke just does the out of sync blink thing at you again and says, "It sounds like they need help murdering someone."
Yeah, we'll probably get to that, but for now.
Well, I suppose as long as we get to it eventually.
Of course, always room for murder.
That's my motto, Master.
Yes, we should probably fix that a little bit, but all right, yeah. How'd you feel about it? There's always room for justice.
Justice often doesn't involve murder.
So it doesn't. We'll work on it.
Maybe if it was justice for droidicas. Because that involves killing everything but droidicas.
Oh. True. Perhaps after all this is done, we can get you a friend.
I would like friends.
A little murder sibling.
So while that disturbing conversation's happening and Jai's throwing helmets around, what's Anaka doing?
Yes.
Sorry, I was talking to my mom. As for Anaka, I feel like she doesn't hold on to her outward anger as much as Jai does, who is now kicking things around. So it doesn't last long. She spends a little bit of time kind of fuming in her own way, which is probably like a lot more silence. And she sees Ilsa kind of look at her every now and then. But other than that, she's not really doing much, I don't think. She seems to be thinking more so than doing anything.
Okay. And then Ilsa, anything? You doing anything on this trip?
I guess after she stops trying to figure out what happened, she will just water the plants.
Okay.
Like very systematically go and make sure everything is picked up, water the plants, take off a dead leaf here or there.
Ilsa really is the queen of minding her own business.
It's true. Okay. So it sounds like there's a whole lot of not communicating on the trip to Tatooine. And yeah. And yeah, eventually you get there to Tatooine, and you're in orbit. What do you want to do now?
Just the sheer difference between this crew refusing to talk to anybody else and the absurd way that the Animus crew is forever in each other's business. It's just ridiculous.
It's a stark contrast.
Nobody can so much as breathe the wrong way on the Lagrange, and somebody's like, "What's wrong? Who hurt you? What? Somebody's in the vents. Like, tell us your problems." Here, everybody's just like, "I don't ask, don't tell. We don't care."
Right.
Oh.
Well, seems we were through a bit of a. Oh, whoa, wow! We were through a bit of a scuffle. Let me brain blast the words back into my mind. Seems to be in our best interest to land on Tatooine, get some repairs, and let everyone perhaps take a walk. See some sights. Don't worry, I'm happy to take care of everything while you all go somewhere.
Bevan. Need to talk to Bevan.
But I don't know if he's actually here.
Jai just like angrily mashes the comm button.
Bevan? Well, Bevan.
Okay. Yeah, Bevan answers. And what did he send you off to do last time?
I have no idea.
Last time we had mostly done the reconnaissance mission, and then we went to Camino to arm up.
Oh, right. You're not like coming back from a mission. This is just something you did on your own.
Yes.
That's right. So yeah, Bevan will answer and just be like, yeah, hi, I don't have any new jobs for you. We're still working on the intel you sent us last time.
There's a deep breath. Do you have a minute to talk?
There's just like an awkward pause, just like, yeah.
Cool. Where?
He's like, I'm can meet you at the cantina, the usual place we talk, or there's somewhere else you have in mind.
Cantina works great. See you there. Boop.
Bevan just sort of has that you're acting kind of odd sort of expression and tone in his voice, but goes like, okay. Meet you there.
Yeah, and you click off. Anyone else want to go with Jai to this meeting, or do y'all just all want to go decompress on your own while I go yell?
Zadu is going to politely decline.
This does sound a little bit fun. Anaka's intrigued to see what has Jai so worked up for the first time since this whole thing has started. So she might like tag along at a distance.
If Jai notices you tagging along, then he'll absolutely just like stop and look at you and just go like he's holding the silver stormtrooper helmet in his hand still, and just like looks at you and just goes, I'm gonna see if Bevan can get us a real big ship. We need to go kill somebody.
Ilsa's going to suggest he carry the helmet in a bag.
Nope.
She's got one, but I don't know. It's like a fancy bag. So
Okay, no. If you like hold a bag for him while he's like mooting, trying to get off the ship, then he'll just be like, "Thank you." He will take it because he is not. He respects Ilsa. He will take it and he will like it, young man.
Hey, you want to take Locke with you?
No.
Why? He needs to get out and stretch his legs as well.
Because
You
I'll
look
probably
like you're
have
ready
him
to
kill
murder someone.
Oh God, yeah. Come on, Locke. Let's go.
Yay, murder!
Would it help if I accompanied?
No, you probably don't want to see what ever ends up happening. I don't even want to see what ends up happening. God, I hope no one tries to mug me. That's going to go real bad for them today.
Well, Zadu will do as he promised and take care of some paperwork and sign off on getting the ship repaired.
All right. So with the damage and everything, the docking bay that you land at, they offer you to fix it all for you for 1,000 credits, or they can lend you the tools and equipment that you need to fix it yourself for half of that.
Yeah, no, have at it.
Okay.
I fly them. I don't fix them.
They jump right on that and start getting repairs underway. So Naka and Jai are going. Was Ilsa going as well?
She was, but she was just told not to.
You can totally, like, that was Jai just like, look, this robot's probably gonna murder someone. I don't know if you want to be involved in that. I don't want to be involved in that, but here we are. Jai is not going to be opposed if you come.
Muxo's going as well because Bevan is involved. So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Muxo would also go.
Okay, well, she'd tag along. Even though she didn't get permission, she'll go. Not that Jai's in charge of anything.
Jai's in charge of nothing. And that is for the best.
Oh my goodness.
Naka seems to be
okay.
in better spirits than is typical to see her in, because just the picture of Jai stomping around and being angry for once is quite amusing to her. So she just kind of trots along with the group, just interested to see what's gonna happen.
It might be germane to point out once again that Jai's like 21, 22. He still hasn't really had time to work shitty teen out of his system, so.
Elsa's pretty young too. She's like a teenager still.
Oh, good. You have great role models.
Are you telling me that Anaka is the adult here in this small group?
No, Locke is clearly the adult in this small group.
Oh God.
I'm gonna say no to that one.
No, Elsa's the teenager that was like always the one who made sure people did their homework.
Okay,
That
good.
annoying
So
person.
Ilsa is the adult in this group. Got it.
Oh goodness.
We are the best mess. And
We're a
love us
train
all.
wreck, is what we are.
Yep.
We're going to
All
train
right.
right into whoever you're mad at on that ship.
All right. Well then, after an uneventful walk over to the cantina, you all get there. Bevan and Utini are just sitting in their own private room as usual, waiting for you. Bevan's got his helmet off.
Jai comes in first and very carefully sets the bag down, opens it up, being very respectful of the bag, lifts the shiny helmet out, and then just like flings it at the wall so that it bounces off and lands back on the table and just goes, "He's a damn Saxon!"
Bevan just watches it bounce off the wall and land back on the table, and kind of tilts his head a little bit and listens to it and says, "Huh, Beskar."
And a damn Saxon!
Run that by me again? I don't know why he
Jai-
got southern
Jai-
all of a sudden, but
Jai very carefully rotates the helmet and then points at the inscription on it.
Bevan seems nonplussed, but is
Bevan
also a
is
bit
matured.
more. Yeah, is also noticeably tense for anybody that's paying attention. Like paying close attention to it would notice that, you know, the slight clench of the jaw, just more tense than before overall. And looks at you, Jai, and goes, "Where did you get this?"
I ripped it off his damn head before his stupid ship tried to blow us up. Speaking of, do you know where we can find a really big ship to go kill somebody? Anaka would like to as well.
Meanwhile, while this conversation is happening, Anaka has just kind of moved to the side of the room and is leaning back against the wall. She's pulled her hood back down, and there's just like this smug little smile on her face as she watches this unfold.
One second.
If you send us to go get a big ship that we can go kill some people with, we could totally then bring it back and use it to take Mandalore back. Just really gotta kill somebody right now. Naka got real mad about it. Trying to deflect, doing a bad job.
Oh, I can't find a word for it. Dang it. I was trying to look up the word that Bevan was going to use in Mandoa here, but I can't find it, so... anyways. Would you like to... You know where you can get a big ship because we're going to go kill somebody? Bevan just kind of holds up a hand and is like, hold up there, and whatever the Mandalorian word is for pup, as in, like, small dog.
I mean, you could probably just use Daikut, but in a nice way. Like, it just kind of means, like, idiot.
I suppose. But it's definitely not intended like a in a harsh manner, just sort of like a yeah.
It's like cheeky. It means like cheeky.
Yeah. He's just like, hold up. We need to address this first before we go off starting wars we can't win. So this helmet, you ripped it off of I'm guessing it's one of those shiny stormtroopers.
Only one we know of.
Okay. Heard some rumors. This just confirms it. I thought all the Saxons were dead, though. He's sort of like pondering for a moment.
I don't know. He's a cousin or something. It's hyphenated.
Bevan picks it up, looks closer, is like, oh yeah, it is. Koreal. He starts thinking. You can tell, like, he obviously knows more than what he's saying, but he's thinking about it. He's like, okay. And this Saxon was working for who? Where was he? What was the situation?
Would we have talked enough at any point to have put together that Shiny Boy works for Pal? Okay, sorry. Would we have talked enough on this trip that Jai might have put this together, or does someone else need to field that question?
I mean, the shiny guy showed up when you were at Pel's installation, so I think that would be a pretty short leap to put those two together.
Okay, then unless someone else in the room jumps in on that one, then Jai will just go like, we saw him when we were checking out Pel's place. I shot him in the eye.
Right. You told me about that. Did you go back there?
No. I had a great idea. See, we pissed him off, right? So we went to Camino.
As soon as I had a great idea, like, leaves your lips, Bevan's just facepalm and go, oh lord.
So
Anaka similarly closes her eyes as soon as Jai says that.
If Jai notices that, like, out of the corner of his eye, and just goes, it was a good idea. We got bombs out of it. So we went and armed up, and then I talked to Talon, and he gave me a rigged comm link. And so then we went to Nar Shaddaa and set a trap, and we called him and his cruiser and a bunch of his assassin punks. And then we killed most of them.
All right.
I think Jai would probably actually describe, like, the Storm Commando to him instead of just saying assassin punks.
Okay. All right. Hold on. You we need to dig deeper into some of that. So you armed up on Camino.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, yeah. Midge Gilmore sent us there. I asked
Oh, okay. Perfect. Okay. That's fine.
some guy named Talon took over one of the cities.
I know him. That's fine. You rigged up a comm link, and the part after that is where we need to slow down and need more details.
Okay, so Jai dives into a deeply technical description of how the rigged comlink would work. Ergo, like, we would use it to piggyback onto the old Imperial HoloNet system using the transponders that we would have had, and that Talon provided to us to drop information into the Imperial network that told them that the ship that they had seen blasting away from Pell's base was now sighted, flying in and out of Nar Shaddaa pretty frequently, focused on one zone, which is where we set our trap. So we used the comlink symbols. We hopped off the relays in like 4 systems, used the hyperspatial communication tunnels, and we just wanted to get our name out there. It was deeply technical, and he's just gonna go.
About halfway through, Bevan just holds up a hand and looks to Anak and goes, "What in the hell's happened?" Just cuts Jai off.
This is probably for the best.
Anaka looks like she's trying to find the words to describe all the bullshit that they've gotten into. And she opens her mouth to say something and then like closes it again.
Okay.
Then she looks to Ilsa.
We're gonna rope the whole family into this mess.
Okay, so I personally am really bad at summarizing things.
If you want to say that Ilsa just summarizes what happens, that's okay too.
Yeah, she very, very kind of primly just explains everything in like a paragraph.
Perfect. So Bevan just nods and goes, "Okay, I think I see what has transpired here. So you all, knowing that you made somebody in Beskar stormtrooper armor, made them angry,
Yes.
decided to make them more angry and invite them to try and kill you.
Nip the problem in the bud, man.
How's that working for you?"
We killed a bunch of storm commandos. I took his helmet. She took his gun. And we got out of there. Seemed good.
Bevan just gives you a look like, I feel like you're leaving out some incriminating details sort of expression, but just nods and goes, "All right, fine." So Pell's
Zadu's droid got to kill a bunch of people.
It was much fun. Locke says right behind you, Jai.
Jai tries very hard not to jump. It does not work.
And we did blow up most of the ships that were following us.
Okay, that's good. He just sort of sighs and goes, just maybe try a little harder to not get into too much trouble. We don't have a lot of troops to spare.
So we could probably use a big ship.
You just point blank without skipping a beat, just looks you dead in the eye and goes, "I am not entrusting you with a big ship."
I don't want you, Muxo. Clearly Captain Material. I just need to shoot somebody. I'm working really hard not to identify that it's the Saxon character that he needs to shoot, because I don't want Anaka to correct him yet. That they're not after the same person.
Okay. I mean, Bevan's pretty sure that's who you're talking about anyways. And it's just like, okay. It looks at Muxo and is probably like, okay, Muxo maybe, but given that Muxo was there and all of this still happened, I'm a little less inclined.
I just shrug. I'm very persuasive.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Bevan goes on to explain, like, they're still trying to look into ways to find chinks in the armor for Admiral Pell's droid manufacturing facility that you poked around in a little bit. It's like basically like I don't have time to really dedicate resources or time to vendettas against some Saxon cousin. Nevertheless, he also explains that he's not happy about this, and kind of says, like, we don't really have resources to devote to this, but this can't go unanswered. And so he says, I tell you what, if you can find more information on this person, track their whereabouts, then maybe you can have a bigger ship as a treat to go take him out later.
Jai just looks over to Naka and puts his hand out for a high five.
Are you redeeming your best friend point?
No.
She doesn't reciprocate.
He lets it hang there just a little too long and then drops it.
When right before you're about to drop it, Locke just walks up and like taps a blaster arm against your hand.
Heck yeah, Locke. Best friends.
When it's getting like to the point of being like just like painfully awkward, just dink 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 dink, tap.
Perfect.
But yeah, Bevan looks at you, Jaya, and says, do you need to hold on to this for any reason?
I have been enjoying booting it around the ship, but if you need it for something, sure. At the very least, you can get the Beskar back to the clans.
Yeah, he nods and says, I plan to have it melted down and
Yeah.
it back to the...
Make a foundling a
clans.
helmet.
So Bevan nods and tosses it to Utini, who quickly puts it into like a bag or something. Yeah, so Bevan looks at you, Jai, and says, the fact that this is a Saxon is very concerning because they're not supposed to be any more Saxons, so this must be some sort of cousin family tree. And that could spell problems if there's a lot of them and they gain a following.
Yeah. Don't want them to pull any attention away from a real Mandalore.
Bevan just nods and says, all right, well, new mission. Figure out what you can about this guy. Find out where he is. Report back and we'll work on taking him out.
Hold on. I need to do a roll real fast to see if Jai knows something. Or if Jai can put this together. Because I think it might be just on the edge of what I could feel comfortable that he could put together. So I'm going to roll knowledge bureaucracy real fast.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to see how high it is to see. Okay. So Jai's going to fumble with this. I feel like it's just going to be like, all right. So he works for Pell. We should go after Pell stuff to find out more.
Bevan just sort of
a tactical mind Jai does not have.
Bevan just like gives you a shoulder pat and nods like, very good, yes.
Boom, nailed it.
And then looks over at Anaka and gives Anaka a like meaningful look of make sure like watch after this one kind of a look.
I love that he chooses Anaka for that.
Perfection is what it is. We're going to be best friends.
It's just because Bevan's worked with Anaka before.
Anaka like looks up at the ceiling, not moving her face, but just like her eyes look up at the ceiling, and then she slowly closes them and just gives her head the smallest of shakes.
All right.
So, do you know any other places of Pels that could maybe use with a... Jai pauses for a minute and goes, loud group of Mandalorians knocking on the door?
Well, he's got a lot of, most of Pel's operations are in space. He's got a lot of ships, Star Destroyers, that sort of thing. I mean, if you can board something and cause trouble, you know, that's always a good plan, but you need to also survive that. So, you know, plan accordingly. You know where the droid facility is. We're still trying to figure things out, but if you want to try your hand at it again, you can. If you really wanted to, you could go buddy up with one of Hell's competitors. Though that would be the least appeasing option for me, if I were in your shoes.
Yeah, don't like that. All right, team, back to the ship for a planning party. Unless we have anything else to do. And he just looks at Locke and goes, not murder.
Locke just looks like the saddest, most disappointed droid in the world.
Unless someone tries to jump us, then go ahead.
At that, Locke perks up a little bit, walks out into the main room of the cantina and goes, yes, would anyone like to try and murder us?
While this is going on, Elsa's just going to buy some straws and like walk like she's leaving. Like she's not going to say anything to anybody. Just, you know, buy a drink and a straw and just leave.
There's a few people in the cantina that stand up at that look kind of annoyed that, you know, this sort of challenge has been issued. Do any of you do anything at this?
I mean, Jai just like raises his blaster up next to his helmet, just goes, you don't want to.
Yeah, as Anaka walks out, she also fixes quite the look on anyone who is standing.
All right. I think Muxo is probably the only one that notices this if Ilsa's already gone off grabbing straws and getting out of there. They do sit down. They all sit down and go back to minding their own business. It's sort of, you know, like the hand up, like, okay, never mind, I wasn't here. But it's only after Bevan stands up behind the two of you.
That's
and puts
fair.
his helmet back on.
They'll figure out that we're bad news eventually.
But yeah, before you notice that, Bevan sits back down. So as far as Giant and Doc are concerned, you just made them all sit down yourself.
Heck yeah. Let's roll.
It's like when you're doing with those little machine things. There's like, how hard can you know, press this panel down or whatever, like strength contest thing, and you know the adult comes by and just like puts their foot on it or something like that. It's basically like that. That's what just happened.
Oh boy.
But yeah, Bevan's giving you all the information he has right now. Anaka, are you gonna say anything about the target that you want to go after? And where that person is?
That's a good question. No. No, she's not.
All right.
So close to a breakthrough.
All right, then. So you all head back to the ship. What's your plan?
So I feel like this is one of those, like, we go back to the ship and we gather around the table, presumably at a very nice dinner that Ilsa has set up for us.
Perfect.
She would set up dinner. I don't know if it would be nice.
If it's not field rations, it's nice.
She put field rations on plates.
Perfect.
Amazing.
She's just got her arms folded and is watching everyone.
So Jaya's just like, we gotta go find stuff about Pell. Any thoughts?
Hold on, I'm finishing up paperwork right now. And that'll be 1,000 credits. Okay.
I'm sorry, we paid how much for what?
Not we. I paid.
Okay. Okay. I could have probably... Okay.
Oh, well, you look much better now that you're back.
Thank you. I'm 100% less mad. I do have to murder someone.
So not that much less mad.
No.
Locke looks at you, Zadu, and goes, I tried to see if anyone in the cantina would try to murder us, but they decided to decline.
Oh, you're simply too strong, Locke.
It's a curse. They sort of just, like, slump, as much as a droid can slump, and they walk off to another part of the ship.
All right.
So we need Pell. We could go find a Star Destroyer and, like, try to get on there, but that's probably bad. We could go back to the droid factory, but they know about us, so that's probably bad. We could help out some other Imperial, but I hate that. And Bevan hates that. I think we all hate that, right? Do we all hate that?
Anaka looks like she would hate that.
Ilsa refills the water.
So we either go try to board a Star Destroyer, or we go back to the spooky droid factory. And he, like, looks at Muxo that y'all said y'all did not enjoy the experience of being inside, or we do something else.
Jai, you're washing dishes tonight.
Yes, ma'am. And Jai just sits there, just like, okay.
A lot of options. Doing something completely unrelated to Pell and Jaws is also an option if you want.
With this party? Probably.
So someone else would need to suggest that and then give Jai a real good reason.
Yeah, that's
He's not gonna say no, but you gotta make him not mad. At least like treat him right. Treat him like Locke right now, right? You gotta promise that eventually he'll get to go murder Saxon.
This seems familiar.
Saxon's at the top of the list.
Do I have 2 murder children now?
I mean, 3, kinda.
Yeah,
3.
Anaka's a murder child too.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You just have a different target that you haven't told us about yet. Mine is Saxon. Locke's is literally every living thing.
Our crew is just the murder family.
No, it's 50% murder, 50% actually decent people.
Yeah.
Just don't track anything on the ship.
Wipe my boots every time.
Don't get blood.
We have a rug. We have a rug right there by the door.
With a gun on it.
Everybody, wash your feet. Wipe your feet off.
All right. So what's the plan?
I truly have no idea.
Huh. I mean, if we want, I'm sure I can think up another really good idea.
Oh?
I was hoping y'all would say no after the last two have done what they've done, but okay.
I mean,
Just has to pick something.
They would never expect us to hit a Star Destroyer.
no. I'm gonna go ahead and say no. I don't really take a stand on things, but that's a no from me.
Okay. We have to go find. He stops. He stops and he points at Muxo and Ilsa and Anaka. Is like, Bevan said we had to find information about Saxon, right? That's what he said. We're gonna go find information about Saxon. The
I believe-
other Saxons. We're
I
going to
believe Bevan
Mandalore.
I believe that Bevan said that we would need other information about the Saxons if we were to go after them.
Right.
Not that, yes, but not that he was suggesting that we dedicate ourselves to that.
We're gonna go find information about the Saxons on Mandalore.
Mandalore is currently Imperial occupied, by the way.
That is not a great tattoo. No. No.
I reach over to like my control panel and like hit the switch marked Imperial Mode. We're going to Mandalore.
I'm confused. I've always had one, but when did the rest of you get death wishes?
I gotta kill a Saxon. Let's go.
Right. Well,
I
you
haven't
could kill
been-
one, or you could play the long game and kill a lot more. The long game involves not going to Mandalore.
When was the last time you've been?
Oh, I was a baby probably before the Imperials took it over. He was raised off planet with his fathers.
When is the last time any of you have been to Mandalore?
Zadu probably hasn't been at all.
That's fair.
So what will we do there since none of us have been there in so long?
This is why we do not to go there, is what I'm saying.
Just coming up with ideas.
Yes,
There's
and we
also-
all appreciate that.
There's also the hyphenated part of the name that you could try to track down.
Huh?
It's a hyphenated last name, so you could try to track down the Koreals and see if that leads you to the Saxons. Just throwing ideas out there.
Okay, so what are our options? Let's go over it again from the top.
Pell, which would be suicide by Star Destroyer, or go back to robot base. Anaka wants to murder someone, but she hasn't said anything about it. Saxon, although the other half of his name, Koreal, you can look them up. I don't know them. I don't have any particular desire to murder them.
I'm literally the distressed Pokemon right now.
Or, I mean, I would hate it for a minute until we found something fun to do, but we could just go do like bounty hunter shit.
What,
We got boat. It's got like a little containment cell. We have TIE fighters, and we have a crew of badasses.
why would we go back to that robot base?
I had a good time there. I shot a guy. Locke murdered stormtroopers.
Yeah,
There's like a yell from down the hall. It was very fun.
Also gets cookies while they talk about this for everybody.
Oh my gosh, yes.
all right.
Just,
Ilsa's the best.
Currently on Tatooine. Before we go anywhere, we should probably potentially stock up more supplies.
Yeah.
I feel like at this, like, Muxo would be like, shopping trip?
Yeah, that's a very Muxo thing to say. Probably would be, yeah.
Ilsa's not going to go to a shopping trip this time. She'll just sulk in her room.
Oh.
I don't have
All
enough
right.
credits. But if anyone else wants to pick something up.
All right, why don't we like get some supplies, make sure the ship's in good shape, make sure the TIE fighters are in good shape, and put out some feelers to find out what we gotta do next. It probably makes the most sense.
Wow, very astute of you, Jai.
Shut up.
Just
I'm
saying.
gonna go kick a Saxon.
So it sounds like the plan for next session is to grab supplies and then potentially go try to infiltrate the droid factory again.
Yes.
Is that where we landed on all of that?
Yes. Wait, droid? Did you say droid factory?
The droid base, yeah.
Oh,
I don't think we actually got deep enough to learn it was
Yeah,
a
we-
factory.
We didn't get to see jack shit.
oh.
We
They're
saw
obvious-
two rooms. We saw them building droids in different stages
Yes.
being built, so
Yeah.
we could kind of assume that it's a
Yeah.
factory.
That's fair.
You didn't suggest that we seize a droid factory and use it for our own means? You're slipping, Jai. You're
We
slipping.
were trying to get out of there.
Jai does not know that it is a droid factory. Like, he just knows that it is a Pell-owned
No.
base that has mean droids in it.
You know, Ilsa has a blaster from there that they haven't looked at yet.
That is also true. You do
It's
have
on my
some,
sheet.
that is some intel you could potentially look into. And when I say factory, I don't necessarily mean that like it's cranking out dozens of these things. It's just that the fact that they do make the droids there, which you already know.
Okay.
But
Okay. They
So it could be
don't know-
automated.
I still might not know that.
it could be automated. So if we take it over and reprogram everything, we could theoretically have a droid factory for us.
That would be a big achievement for your cause.
Jai does come a little bit out of his funk for that, just because, like, really? Take our own factory? I want to be on the go inside team this time.
It wouldn't be simple. Would not be simple.
You keep
Oh.
saying simple, and I feel like we don't need to
Let
do
us not-
simple anymore.
Let us not. Well, okay. Well, relax. Let us not get ahead of ourselves.
All right. Well, I think that sounds like a fantastic plan. We'll wrap up there, and next session you can do your shopping trip for your big droid research lab bunker factory place infiltration mission, and then after that maybe we'll have all those Sith Ewoks. The session after that, we'll see.
Yes. Yes, he's coming.
With that, we'll wrap up there, though. So I'm going to let everybody say what their favorite part was, where we can find them, anything else they'd like to share or plug, and then we'll go on a raid. I'm going to raid cry, which is going to be, I got your helmet, shoot me. So yeah, go reverse order. So Par, what was your favorite part? Where can folks find you, and anything else you'd like to share?
I think my favorite favorite detail of the session is just Tanaka like skipping by the group, seeing Jai, frustrated for the first time. There's a little detail I really liked. Also, yeah, just Jai getting affected by something and sort of the younger nature coming out was great. Just so many good moments I feel during this episode. You can find me next. Well, you could usually find me next same time tomorrow for Zweihander, but we're not actually having a session tomorrow, so you can catch me next week on Friday at the same time for Zweihander, and also next week this time for Star Wars.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Matt, what was your favorite part? Where can folks find you, and anything else you'd like to share?
Whew, so many to choose from. Boy, like we didn't I know like narratively we didn't do a lot, but boy, it felt like a lot happened this episode and I loved it. I think my favorite part honestly was Ilsa in the TIE fighter, like her just being like, okay, y'all have this handled, I'm gonna go shoot them all down, and then immediately like two-furring the TIE bombers was great. That was wonderful. You can find me next here on this channel. I'll be here on Saturday for the Time Traveler game, where I play someone who is literally the exact opposite of Jai. So that's a fun change of pace. And you can find me on my streaming channel, Jam Game Streams, Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings at 10 a.m. Central Time. I started a Pokemon Sword Nuzlocke run yesterday that I'm going to continue doing, and that's a lot of fun. My starter died before I got to the first gym, and it was heartbreaking.
No.
Yeah, it was a devastating loss. And I have a podcast called Hard Reboot that me and two friends take a public domain property and give it a fresh coat of paint. The next one we're doing, which will come out sometime this month because February was rough, is going to be The Invisible Man. So that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Also, be sure to go check out at HopeTracy71 on Twitter. She should be back. Words are hard. Should be back next week for Star Wars. But yeah, she's awesome. Go check her out. Next, we've got Nikki. What was your favorite part? Where can people find you? And anything else you'd like to share?
I just really liked when Elsa got to blow up 2 ships at once. It was a lot of fun. And I like the end when we were trying to wrap up and come up with ideas. I always like when everyone gets to talk. You should be able to see me, not tomorrow because the game that we're not playing Zweihander, but I should be on Action Fiction on Sunday, hopefully.
Oh, cool.
Well, there's a game I'm in, but I don't know. I'm like all off on the schedules right now. So, and the rest of my stuff is on my pin on my Twitter. That's all I have for now.
All right. Last but not least, V, what was your favorite part? Where can folks find you, and anything else you'd like to share?
In terms of favorite parts, Anaka being somewhat delighted that Jai is just being a frustrated being this time, instead of being the ever optimistic Simon role. Now he's finally expressing some other emotions that aren't as annoying. So her kind of tagging along when he was on the way to see Bevan, and in the end it didn't turn out that she got to witness any violence or anything like that, but she went along for the ride and it was interesting for her. And then of course at the end when Bevan stood up and everybody else sat down, I just be like, yeah, that's right. That's always lovely. And like previously stated, when Ilsa got to blow up the two fighters at once, that was always it's always nice when you can have a 2-for-1 and not have to worry about it. But yeah, as for me, you can find me here on Saturday for the next episode of Animus Absentis, and you can also check out my my artwork at my art Twitter, which is at Pepperodraws. That's pepper like the candy. I'm almost done with another My Hero Academia piece. I am drawing Tamaki. If you've seen the later episodes, one of the big three. So that piece will be posted. I don't think tonight, probably tomorrow or the next day. But you can check out my work there and give me a follow if you like it, and stay tuned for more. That's me.
Awesome. My favorite part, Steve. Just the whole Steve thing. My favorite part.
How could I forget Steve? Yes, Steve was also a good part. So, yes, so much did happen between then and the end, but Steve, yes, of course.
Next time we see him, he's going to be an ace. He's going to be like in an interceptor leading a squadron.
Oh, goodness. Yep.
I hope so.
Steve...
He deserves it.
Steve was great. Also, right out of the gate, having to use a destiny point so Jai didn't die. Because Jai's like, I'm going to aggro a cruiser with my jetpack.
Go big or go home. Go big or die. Or I guess go big or get to go home. One of those.
It's something like that. I think that was a go big and die. But yeah, it was great. And it definitely made things a lot easier on everybody. Despite it being a massively dangerous idea. It did divert fire and also made the cruiser come into that encounter much later than it would have. So that was really cool. Yeah, also the TIE Defender thing. Because that's really the first time we've got to see like just exactly how awesome those TIE Defenders are. And Ilsa getting the double kill on the one shot was just amazing. And as always, the dynamic between Locke and Zadu was just delightful. And it was cool getting to see Zadu do some really fancy piloting. Especially that ship flip coordination with Jai to take that shot. That was really cool. All over, just a really good episode. Where you can find me next is tomorrow at noon Mountain Time for Beyond the Wall, where I'll be playing Mare. She is if you took DC's Raven and Scarecrow and had them produce a child who grew up sort of just, admiring and having Batman as her role model, that's basically Mare. She's not super social, but she has some pretty cool powers, and it's a really interesting world where dreams and reality are not separate things like they are in real life. So yeah, it's very cool. Great group, fantastic DM over there as well. So definitely come back and check that out at noon Mountain Time tomorrow. Other stuff to plug and talk about is sponsors, Fundamental RPG and Intrepid. Fundamental RPG is my tabletop system. Second edition is releasing, should be tomorrow. The plan was for today. Unfortunately, the person I have doing all the formatting got sick this week, and so we just had to push it back a little bit. But I'm hoping for tomorrow. It's about 98% done as of a couple days ago, so should be pretty soon. But you can still get pre-orders in at coffee.com/raven/shop. Just like it says in the bottom right-hand corner, just add /shop to the end of it. And then it'll be fully releasing at some point by the end of this week for PDF and paperback. And then Intrepid is adventuring gear for IRL. So if you like athletic, outdoor, or casual wear with a tabletop or adventure theme, you can find that in the same place, coffee.com/raven/shop. And yeah, it's really cool stuff. Definitely check that out. I'm also working on formatting a bunch of my art for prints, and that should be available at that same location as well here pretty soon. So just basically go check out that link and click on all the really cool stuff that's there. Moral of that story. And then finally, if you'd like to catch up on this show or any other shows that are on the channel or any past campaigns that we've done, you can look us up on YouTube. Just look up Black Feather Guild. It should bring up the channel. And then very soon, we'll be featured on the Fantasy Network. You'll be able to catch all of our stuff there as well. And I think that's everything. So we're going to go on a raid. As I mentioned, our raid cry is, "I got your helmet, shoot me." We're going to go raid Milady Saito, fantastic person and streamer, and one of my favorite people on Twitch. Definitely give her a follow if you're not doing so already. And then I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.